Hey everybody, this is Marie Lanza, author of Fractured, and you're listening to Me, Myself, and I Radio.
Hey listener, welcome back. Marie and I had so much fun doing this interview. This is actually a 2-part series. So if you haven't already listened to part 1, go back and do that because there is a keyword you're going to need. Because in this episode, I give you the second keyword that will unlock a copy of Marie's new book, a signed copy of Fractured, The Other Side. Good morning, good afternoon, hip hip hooray. This is Me, Myself, and I Radio, a self-discovery podcast. It's all about being extraordinary under extraordinary circumstances. I'm your host, Anthony Hayes. Welcome to the journey called life. Let's go.
Sometimes in life, things can come across as rather odd or often peculiar, a little like the way that you decide to tune into other radio stations other than ours.
So hard last night, my lids are swollen. Got my guitar, gotta get to a studio. Got a track and I think it's gonna hit, yo. It's been so many years and there's been so many tears, and it's gonna be well worth the pain, see, when all my people line up to see me. Cause I got no money, got no home, got no girl to come.
This is why I don't do live radio. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're here with Marie Lanza, author of Fractured. And I am back mentally because I took a little hiatus there for about 10 seconds while I was gathering my thoughts. But basically, reading, writing, this is such a intricate part of society. Something I think we're losing personally, but that's beyond the point. So do you take time out of every day, now as a mother, do you read to your daughter? Is it a daily activity? Is it something you're starting to implement, or is it something that you have been doing with her?
I mean, she's in a little school all day, so where they also do a lot of education from, so they give us a once a month curriculum and what they're going to be discussing. So she's been in that little school daily since she was 3 months old. It's a
cool.
daycare with a really strong education behind it. Education curriculum. I am so lucky. And so they do a ton of that all day. And then we read with her at night, and we do a lot of educational apps. I know that's terrible. Everyone out there who doesn't believe in apps for children this young just fell over. But my mom puts these little apps on her phone that has counting and colors, and she gets about 20 minutes a night with my mom because she does like the phone. It's the generation and world we live in now. She gets about 20 minutes, and then we do ask to unplug. But she loves it, and she responds to it. And reading is a big thing in our house. I mean, nothing really is off limits to stimulate that little brain. Nothing. So it's all very important.
Sure. That's awesome. Yeah, we have a private sitter, who she's absolutely amazing, but yeah, I'm kind of jealous at the fact that you guys have such a great educational system over there, because I live in Florida, and the daycares, well, I mean, there's some that are okay, but we're not exactly known for our best curriculum as far as schools are concerned, at least the high school I went to, which is probably why I'm in retail, but that's besides the point as well. Yeah, I can relate with the whole app thing, because it's funny. Before I had Violet, I would look at mothers or fathers strolling through the grocery store with their children and with the phone in hand, and I would say to myself, because as much as I embrace technology, I hate it at the same time. I'm more of an old school pen and pad
so
guy.
Am I.
but I understand. Yeah. But I understand the necessity for it. So I used to see these people rolling around with their kids in the phones, and I would scoff at them and say that I will never do that. I will never be that parent. So here I am. And just like there's these apps and these things that they can learn. And, she knows like basically her whole alphabet at this point. All the like a majority of the colors. And I think that, or I know that, implementing these rituals and these learning experience for her definitely helped her out, intellectually. So I can't completely disregard the necessity of, these applications or these programs to, help nurture our children.
I think I think that when, again, I'm a big, everything is about balance, because I think when you have kids, you're going to constantly struggle with how much is too much. And she plays all day. She's outside playing in the playground. She's playing with other kids. Like your little one's not on it all day. She's on it for small periods of time. And even like my little one's pediatrician had even commented like, well, how long are you giving her the phone? And it's not just her phone. Her Grammy actually also bought her a kids devoted Kindle where it has nothing. And so what we did was we bought nothing but the educational apps. So for me, there's like a little piano app where all she does is play the piano. And there's another one where it says, find the triangle, find the square. And if someone's going to tell me that that's bad for at 2 years old to be able to like pick out shapes and colors, I think that we need to reevaluate. Like, really? That's her education is, her brain development is bad because I'm showing her what's the difference for me if I spend 20 minutes showing her a piece of paper with colors versus a Kindle with colors and say, pick out what it is.
Right. Which
the Kindle just doesn't make a mess in my house. I don't have thousands of coloring books and books. It's all right there. And broken crayons right there.
half-eaten crayons.
Yeah. No,
all over
she's
the
not
house.
on it all day. Our kids aren't on it all day. They spend a few minutes to study, and then they can go play.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, it's safe to say that she doesn't have your ebook series on the Kindle?
No, she doesn't, but mommy does read to her. I didn't say what I read to her. This kid watches every horror film that comes on my television. She watches The Walking Dead with me. She watches Fear the Walking Dead with me. She growls whenever the zombie comes on. She looks at me and holds up her little hand and she growls.
Oh, that's so funny.
I tell her that zombies are cool. I grew up in a house where none of that was off limits. So I hope to, and that's probably why I can walk through a haunted house and not bat an eye at most of the gore that comes my way. But I also don't want things to be her to have an unnecessary fear of what's make believe. So I hope that I can do as good a job as my parents did and say, this is make believe, this is reality, and this is a lot of fun to make, but it's not real. You know what I mean? But she's a cool kid. Like, she'll turn around to me and she'll like growl, and I'm like, yeah, babe, that's zombie talk. The day she bites someone, we have a problem. Yeah, but she hasn't bit someone yet.
Yeah, we have that problem in South Florida. There's been an epidemic apparently with some street drug called like Flocka or bath salts or something, and there's people running around Miami high.
It was
just biting people.
Bath
it's
salts,
insane.
and now Flocka is the new one. But then wasn't the crocodile? No, it was crocodile drug.
I heard about that. That was huge over in, I want to say, like,
it was.
Czech. There was an outbreak in like where was it? Russia
It
or
was in
somewhere
Eastern
over there.
Europe.
I saw that too. Wow,
Yeah,
that is
it was
insane.
in Eastern Europe, and then it came over to the United States. I think it was bigger in some Midwestern states, and then really in I believe New Mexico, it got really big. But or they not really big, but they were having a lot of problems with it. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I never thought I'd see the day that zombies became a real thing, but it's
I'm
apparently
a big believer. We're
happening. So many different levels.
We're gonna see it
I
happening.
know, right? Well, that's a good thing for you. It'll be a good thing for book
That's
business.
what I've always said. I'm like, hey, keep eating people. You just make my book sales go up because people are fascinated in zombies again.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
Hashtag zombie. Oh man, so that's awesome, Marie. So we're going backwards in time. We hit the I elements. We hit myself, and we're gradually getting towards the me to round up the top 3. And so this ebook series that you've been working on, Colony, your 1, 2, 4. Is it 4? 4N, right? Okay, yep. And so do you have a plan as far as the future with these? Is there a cap on them? Is it going to be a reoccurring story? Have you not really figured that out yet? What's that process been like for you? I'm sure you get this question. You actually probably get a lot.
I'm about to release part 5, and let me just tell you, the first Colony, was the first book that I released out to as a novel or a book, and honestly, it's a short story. It's like 20 pages. It was never meant to be anything more than that. And then I started, it did really well. And everyone kept saying, well, what's going to happen to Emma? And you have to continue Emma's story. What are you thinking? And I loved that feedback. But now, how long do I go? And so it's one of those things of, wait, where does
pressure?
I'm like, well, wow, how far do we continue Emma's story? So the Colony is just a short story series. I release it here and there, a chapter here and there. It's not been consistent, because the 2 Fractured novels were released in the middle of it. But yeah, everyone loves her. She's a great character. I really enjoy writing about her. So we'll see where it goes. If you want to email me and let me know what you think should happen to Emma, let me know. But I go back and forth with how long that story is going to continue, or how should I continue? Should I release a novel on Emma? Should I, I go back and forth with all kinds of ideas.
The second keyword is Halloween. Listen for instructions at the end of this episode. Sure. Well, I mean, I guess the future of it's kind of evolving just as the beginning did, it sounds like, because like you said, it wasn't really a planned thing. So I think that's kind of cool. I like the mystery and all that, and I think other people could appreciate that too. Being able to there's another ebook out. Oh, cool! Gotta pick up where we left off.
Yeah, or they hate it and they're like, "Oh, these stories are too short," and you wait too long. There's always some issue somewhere. But
oh yeah.
Right, but I write
always
them when I can
naysayers.
because again, she was never meant to continue after book 1, but they've been doing they've done really well, and people seem to be happy with Emma and where her journey has taken her. So I'm happy to continue writing about her if people are happy to read it.
Very cool. Yeah, writing for me has been a more of a therapeutic venture, if you will. Like at first, like when I started writing I started writing my book unknowingly like 10 years ago. And so ever since then, and in between then and now, I've also like been blogging and stuff like that to kind of get my creative juices flowing. But there is a certain for me, there's a certain like emotional aspect involved. Like I write at my highest of highs or my lowest of lows. There's kind of no like medium for me. On a personal level, it's kind of just like I write whenever. But it sounds like you're more of like a seasoned writer. So take me back a little bit further back in time now. What as far as, you know, you said you went to college, you studied, so you've basically been in the entertainment industry and stuff. It's safe to say all your life.
Yeah.
So this is ingrained in your DNA. This is a part of you, you know. So do you find writing to be easy? Is it something you have to work at? Like, what is that whole energy flow like for you?
It just depends. If I'm not in the right mindset, it's obvious. I think it's going to be difficult for anybody. But writing has always been very natural to me. And like you said, for you, it's very therapeutic. And I always have at least 5 like docs up, and I may not be focused on just one story. I may just need to write some thoughts down. Something might hit me about something completely random, and I just need to write it down on a piece of paper or something. You should see my house of notebooks. I'm a handwriter. That's another thing about me, is that I get my thoughts down so much more fluid with a pen and paper over a computer. So everything comes easy to me if I have a pen. But if you put me,
I'm the same way
on the computer, I have a world of other distractions from thesaurus.com.
Oh yeah.
Researching. I read the news all day. There's all these other distractions. But if you just give me a notebook,
all my annoying tweets at Marie Lanza,
I like your tweets.
that I bother you with online, stalker. Anyway, I'm right there with you. Like, I have one notebook in front of me that I wrote down for today. I've got 2 Post-its to my right. I've got my journal right above that, and then I've got like a daily planner above that. So I'm an old school guy as far as that's concerned myself.
When I'm prepping for my radio shows, and even every radio show I've produced, I hand wrote everything. So when I was reading the news, it was all handwritten, because I actually read my handwritten notes better than typed notes. So the only thing even one of my hosts would ever get from me was a 1-sheet that probably someone else typed. And it's not that I can't type. Mm-hmm. It's that my brain doesn't process it the same way. I mean, I'm an extremely fast typer. It's one of those things where I'm much more efficient if I'm typing, but I need to type my handwritten notes. I can't just type freely. It's one of those.
Yeah. But also, by writing stuff down, it helps you commit it to memory better, and you kind of have a more, you can retain the information better. You write it down and then put your own spin on it. You don't have to say it verbatim.
Yeah, everything is handwritten for me. It all works better.
Yeah. Like I said, listeners, I've been stalking Marie since 2004. Which she's now well aware of, and she's probably going to block me on all social media channels. So I kind of shot myself in the foot on that one. Thank you very much, Scatterbrain Anthony. Radio and the new generation of, I know I get like ridiculed by my podcasting community when I call it radio, because my show has radio in the title. It's not really radio.
Can I just argue with that for a second? You're doing radio.
It's like, right, isn't it though?
For everyone
it's like
out
the
there
new wave.
who's doing podcasts, you're doing radio. It's called a radio podcast. So you can say podcast or you can say radio.
Yes.
But someone who spent the last decade in satellite radio, you're doing radio. You're there. You're with a mic. You're with a microphone.
Podcasters.
Don't let anyone, podcasts, look at everyone who's doing podcasts right now. It's radio. Come on. It's
right. Speaking of which, The Dirt on Spreaker. Make sure everybody tunes into that. Listen to Barry and Marie chop it up. Their show is very entertaining. And another thing, while we're because now we're going into to talk about the production side and radio and stuff. The funniest thing is that in the beginning, like when I first started my show, which is actually really atrocious. Don't listen to it, please, Marie. But it's been quite the evolution since then. So it's been absolutely fun, process. But, that's the whole theme of the show. And it's kind of like my journey and my learning through others. So very, very early on when I started my show through Spreaker, I was just using the mobile application. So I was actually broadcasting from my smartphone with my iPhone, like my headphones and headset. And at the beginning of every show, okay, and I'm admitting this to you right now, I used to give you guys a shout out at the beginning of every show, because if not for you guys and listening to your show and finding you, I would never have gotten into podcasting, because Spreaker gave me that medium to produce. And I used to make sure that at the beginning of every show, I opened it up with, be sure to check out, Marie and Barry on the Dirt. This is their home on Spreaker, or whatever have you. I would say something along those lines. So, kind of like, thank you for introducing me to this world, because I really didn't know it existed before I found you guys.
Thank you. Yes, after leaving satellite radio, Barry and I came over to Spreaker. We are on iHeartRadio, and we also do the Fishbowl with Tiffany, and we have other characters that come on. Dave Hines is on there with Tiffany a lot. But we love Spreaker, and they give an outlet to iHeartRadio as well. So we joined their group. I can't say how long it's been since I've done a show on Spreaker, but you've got a ton of content over there on the Dirt, but it's been a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of episodes, and it's like the amount of followers that you guys have and listens, just your statistics and analytics are like off the charts. So people are definitely consuming it, and yeah, that was So thank you to you guys, because if not for you, I definitely would not be here
and neither
today.
Would I?
Actually.
So that's awesome.
And in order to circle back around and tie our me, myself, and I elements all together to give ourselves a glimpse into the future, I'm now going to ask Marie a great takeaway. What would you tell your 21-year-old self, Marie?
If I were to meet my 21-year-old self today, I would tell myself, take more opportunities, go to law school. I would say to keep learning, because you don't know everything yet. Boys suck, and they don't get any better until their late 30s. Keep writing. Don't take everything so seriously, and don't let realities get in your way of always following your dreams.
Oh man, Marie, I really appreciate you coming on. It's such a pleasure to speak to you again after all these years. And if anybody wants to tweet at Marie with me and harass her over the internet, like we do all our favorite celebrities and friends, you can do that at Marie_Lanza at Twitter. And she's on Facebook, Marie Lanza Books, and her website, marielanza.com. Like, that's the easiest way to get all her content, all her books, her e-series, and you just get to see her beautiful face, because it's right there on the banner. So it's just a whole nice little compilation, and kind of a what's it called, a shrine. You can have your own little personal shrine there of Marie right on your computer screen. You pull it up, and then you can light some candles like I do. Okay, this just got really weird. I think Marie just hung up. But
thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Cool, awesome. Well, at the end of every show, we always like to urge the listeners to control the controllable. As for the rest, keep on flowing and just be. This has been me, myself, and I, Anthony Hayes, joined with my lovely guest today, Marie Lanza. Thank you, Marie. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you have your 2 keywords ready, email them now to me, myself, and I radio@gmail.com. This contest is limited to one signed copy of Marie Lanza's new book, Fractured, The Other Side. You must be a resident of the continental United States to be eligible for this contest. This contest ends at 11:59 October 31st Eastern Standard Time. Thank you and good luck.